Hello. I request you all to stand while the dignitaries for the event arrive. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. Esteemed dignitaries, respected guests, distinguished speaker, learned faculty members, delegates, author, student, and participant. It is with a great honor and profound privilege that we welcome you all to Temporium 2026, an academic conference that celebrates the spirit of inquiry, the pursuit of excellence, and the exchange of ideas across disciplines and border. Thank you. Should I tell everyone?
Joining us today for this August occasion are our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Father Viju PD, our Director, Father Thomas TV, Campus Director of the Kengeri Campus, Dr. Father GB Jose, Assistant Director, Father Shijin PJ, our Dean, Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, Head of the School of Architecture, Dr. Anita Susilan, Convener of this conference, Dr. Vishnu P. Prakash, the chief guest for this event, Dr. Rima Huja, President, ICOMOS India, the guest of honor, Dr. Karl Zlang, Professor at the Faculty of Architecture and Civil Engineering, THWS Germany, Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Head, Department of Architectural Conservation at the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. Our international knowledge partners for this conference are THWS Germany. Our national knowledge partners are the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, the Indian National Trust for Art and Culture and Heritage, New Delhi and Bangalore, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, ICOMOS, India South Zone, We are sorry to keep you waiting. There's a small technicality because of which we are not able to continue. Thank you for waiting and for bearing with us. The guests will be joining us shortly and we can begin the program. We apologize for the short mishap, a technicality, and thank you all for bearing with us. Please be seated. Joining us today for this August occasion are our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Father Viju PD, our Director, Father Thomas TV, Campus Director of the Kengeri Campus, Dr. Father GB Jose, Assistant Director, Father Shijin PJ, our Dean, Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, Head of the School of Architecture, Dr. Anita Susilan, Convener of this conference, Dr. Vishnu P. Prakash, the Chief Guest for this event, Dr. Rima Huja, President, ICOMOS India, the Guest of Honor, Dr. Carl Zenk, Professor at the Faculty of Architecture and Civil Engineering, THWS, and Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Head, Department of Architectural Conservation at the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. Our international knowledge partners for this conference are THWS Germany. Our national knowledge partners are the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, the Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage, INTAC, New Delhi and Bangalore, the International Council on Monuments and Sites, ICOMOS, India South Zone.
We now have the pleasure of presenting Natyarpan, a classical dance performance celebrating India's rich artistic tradition and cultural heritage through rhythm, grace, expression. This presentation celebrates the timeless beauty of our cultural form. I invite you all to receive their beautiful performance.
Tillana nadr dheen dheen nana tillana tillana nadr dheen dheen nana tillana tillana nadr dheen dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen dheen nana tillana tillana nadr dheen dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen Tillana nadr dheen dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen nadr dheen
Thank you, Natarpana, for that inspiring performance. In keeping with the tradition of the university, we now proceed with the invocation offered by the university choir, seeking blessings for the successful commencement of Temporium 2026. Lighting lamps has long been a revered tradition symbolizing the dispelling of darkness and the illumination of knowledge. I invite Dr. Rima Huja, Dr. Karl Zink, Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Father Dr. G.B. Jose, Father Thomas T.V., Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, Dr. Anita Susilan, and Dr. Vishnu P. Prakash to come onto the dais to light the lamp. I request the audience to kindly lend their attention to this solemn and auspicious beginning. Thank you, dignitaries. Thank you, University Choir, for your uplifting invocation. We now invite the welcome address, which will formally extend greetings to our dignitaries, keynote speakers, delegates, authors, partners, and participants. I request Professor Shyam Gandhi to deliver the welcome address while the guests are presented with saplings.
Thank you, Albert. A very good morning. It is my privilege and honor to welcome each one of you to Temporium 2026, the international conference organized by the School of Architecture, Christ, deemed to be University, Bangalore. Jane Jacobs once reminded us that cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, only because and only when they are created by everybody. That timeless thought reflects the very spirit of Temporium. Architecture has never been the work of single discipline or a single individual. It flourishes through collaboration, dialogue, shared knowledge, and a collective commitment to shape better place for people. Today, we are gathered here merely not to inaugurate a conference, but to begin a 3 day of meaningful conversation that will bring together diverse perspectives on architecture, heritage, urbanism, technology, sustainability, and the future of our human settlements. At the onset, I extend a respectful and heartful welcome to all our university dignitaries. It's my honor to welcome Reverend Father Dr. Joe Sisi, Vice Chancellor, Christ, deemed to be University, in his absentia. I warmly welcome Reverend Father Thomas Stevie, Director, School of Architecture, Christ, deemed to be University. I also extend my sincere welcome to Reverend Father Dr. G.B. Jose, Director, School of Engineering and Technology, and Father Srijin P.J., Assistant Director, Christ University Campus, in his absentia. It takes a great pleasure in welcoming Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, Dean, School of Architecture, Christ Kengeri Campus. It's now my privilege to extend a warm welcome to our distinguished guest, whose scholarship, professional accomplishments, and commitment to the built environment continue to inspire the architecture community. We are truly honored by your presence at Temporium 2026. Our chief guest, Dr. Reema Ahuja, President of ICOMOS India, is an eminent historian, archaeologist, and a heritage specialist. Through her extensive research publication and public engagement, she has made significant contribution to understanding, conservation, and promote of India's rich cultural and built heritage. May I request Reverend Father Thomas Stevie, Director, School of Architecture, to kindly present a sapling to Dr. Reema Ahuja as a token of appreciation. Our next distinguished guest is Professor Karl Zankel, Professor at Technical University THWS, Germany, an architect and academic. His works focuses on architecture education, heritage building, conservation, and adaptive use, with particular emphasis on integrating historical structure into contemporary architecture practices. May I request Dr. Anita Sushilan, Head, School of Architecture and Conveyor of Temporium 2026, to kindly present a sapling to Professor Karl Zankel. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Head of Department of Architecture Conservation at School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, a distinguished academic and conservation specialist. She has contributed extensively to heritage conservation through teaching, research, documentation, and preservation of India's historical built environment. May I request Dr. Vishnu Pri Prakash, Conveyor Temporium 2026, to kindly present a sapling to Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Norman Langer, Professor at Technical University THWS, Germany. His work focuses on architecture, digital design, and innovation approaches to architecture education while fostering the international academic collaboration and integration of emerging technologies into architectural practices and research. May I request Professor Alina Maria to kindly present a sapling to Professor Norman Langer. Professor Harshlata can do that. Professor Alina is not there. It's my pleasure to welcome architect Shikha Jain, conservation architect and director at Drona Development and Research Organization for Nature, Arts and Heritage. She is widely recognized for her work in heritage conservation, cultural resource management, and sustainable urban development, leading several nationally and internationally significant conservation initiatives. May I request Dr. Ajay Chandran to kindly present a sapling to architect Shikha Jain. It's my pleasure to welcome architect Dr. Prateek Sudhakaran, architect, urban designer, and researcher. His work focuses on sustainable urbanism, public space, and context-specific design, contributing to innovative approaches that connect architecture, urban planning, and community-led center development. May I request Professor Rashmi Pai to kindly present a sapling to architect Prateek Sudhakaran. I think Professor Rashmi is not here. Rashmi MK, ma'am, can you do? It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Parul Manjal, architect, academician, and researcher. Her work span architectural design, built environment, architectural education, and through her teaching, research, and professional engagement, she has contributed to advancing innovative and context-sensitive approaches to architecture. May I request Professor Satyanarayana to kindly present a sapling to Dr. Parul Manjal. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Balaji Venkatachari, Associate Professor, BMS College of Architecture, an architect, academician, and researcher. His work span architectural urban design, built heritage, cultural urbanism, contributing to architectural education through teaching, research, and professional practice. May I request Professor Anay to present a sapling to Dr. Balaji Venkatachari. Professor Ritu Sara Thomas is not here, so I'll continue. So, distinguished guest, thank you for your graciously accepting our invitation and for honoring Temporium 2026 with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, let us express our appreciation with a warm round of applause for all the people who come here. I also extend a warm welcome to our keynote speakers, panel chairs, session chairs, researcher, presenters, industrial expert, collaborators, alumni, faculty members, student volunteers, delegates, and every participant who has traveled from different institution and region to be part of Temporium 2026. Your presence enriches this gathering, and we sincerely hope that the conversation over the next 3 days will inspire new ideas, meaning, and collaborations, and a lasting professional relationship. On behalf of School of Architecture, Christ, deemed to be University, Bangalore, I warmly welcome you all and wish each one of you a productive, engaging, and memorable conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Shyam Gandhi, and my dearest students. We now invite the convener to present the conference overview. This address will illuminate the theme of Temporium 2026, its objective, international collaboration, keynote lecture, technical tracks, workshop, publication, and anticipated outcomes of this distinguished conference. I request Dr. Vishnu P. Prakash to kindly address the gathering.
Respected dignitaries, distinguished keynote speakers and session chairs and invited guests, scholars, researchers, and students, colleagues, and all the participants from India and abroad. A very good morning and a very warm welcome to Temporium 2026 International Research Conference, organized by School of Architecture, Christ deemed to be University. It is my privilege to present the brief overview of this Temporium 2026 International Conference to you, and it is organized under the theme Heritage Across Landscape, Technologies, Traditions, and Ecological Continuity. The conference emerged from the need of reconsidering heritage in a rapidly changing world. Heritage can no longer be understood only as a preservation of monuments. historic buildings or objects from the past, it must also be reconsidered as a living and evolving system of knowledge, practice, landscape, memory, skill, and cultural expressions, and also its relationship between communities and environment. Temporium 2026 therefore positions heritage as both as memory and method. Memory connects society to their history, identity, landscape, and collective experience, where method refers to the way in which inherited knowledge can be guided, present-day decision concerning architecture, settlement planning, ecological management and education, technology and government, and sustainable development. The conference brings together scholars, practitioners, policymakers, conservation professionals, educators, technologists, and community representatives and students. Through this multidisciplinary platform, we seek to examine the complex relationship between culture heritage, human settlement, ecological resilience, technological transformation, and community well-being. The conference responds to several urgent contemporary concerns. These include the rapid urbanization, climate change, environmental degradation, displacement and erosion of traditional knowledge, and changing cultural identities. And this increased the influence of digital technologies. At the same time, it recognized these opportunity offered by the artificial intelligence like photogrammetry, LiDAR scanning, drone survey, spatial computing, augmented reality, as well as visual reality, and all the digital documentation techniques, understanding, interpreting, and conserving the communicated heritage. Temporium is structured around 5 broad themes, and the theme 1 is about heritage as praxis, adaptive future for built living and ecological traditions, which examines heritage as an adaptive process rather than a static object. It addresses an adaptive reuse, living traditions, cultural continuity, resilient settlement, and evolving conservation practice. And the second theme is on indigenous knowledge system, learning ecologies, responsible pedagogies. Explore the relevance of vernacular knowledge, local ecological intelligence, craft traditions, community-based learning, and place-responsive approach to education and design as well. And the third theme is on digital palimpsests, technology for documentation, interpretation, and collaborative future, which investigates how emerging technologies can support heritage documentation, visualization and conservation, public participation, and knowledge dissemination. And the fourth theme is on cultural landscape, memory, climate resilience, which focus on the relationship amongst landscape heritage, ecological memory, water system, sacred geographies, ritual practices, climate adaptation, and community resilience. And the fifth theme is on ethics, governance, and trans-regional exchange in conservation, which addresses the policy, participatory governance, conservation ethics, institutional responsibility, and the exchange of knowledge and practice across regions and cultures. Through these themes, the conference seeks to create a dialogue across architecture, planning, conservation, landscape studies and cultural studies, environmental research, social science and education, digital technology, tourism, and public policy. The objective of Temporium 2026 extends beyond academic discussions. First, the conference seeks to generate policy-relevant recommendations for integrating heritage-led approach in rural and urban development, tourism and climate action strategies, skill development and educational framework. And the second objective is to promote the knowledge exchange by bringing together the indigenous knowledge system, professional practice, community experience, and emerging technologies. The third objective, it supports the capacity building, particularly among students, young researchers, artisans, educators, and local community governance and institutions. And also it aims to strengthen the national and international collaboration among universities, professional organizations, researchers, practitioners, and heritage institutions. Finally, the conference gives an importance to the publication and dissemination with an objective of developing high-quality scholarly output from the research presented and discussed during these 3 days. The conference is enriched by the support of our distinguished knowledge partners, ICOMOS India and ICOMOS India South Zone, Indian National Trust for Art and Cultural Heritage Delhi Chapter and Bangalore Chapter, the Department of Architectural Conservation, along with the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, and the Technical University of Applied Science, Germany. Their association strengthens this academic and professional and international character of this Temporium 2026 conference. Also, we are honored to have eminent keynote speaker whose work represent two critical dimensions of this conference. Professor Carl Sangel brings extensive knowledge in heritage conservation, building renovation, sustainable restoration, and adaptive reuse. Professor Bharat Dehia contributes significant expertise in sustainable urban development, urban governance, climate change, planning innovation, and community-led development. Their perspectives will help connect heritage conservation with a wider challenge of contemporary human settlement. We are equally privileged to have distinguished session chair, scientific committee members, publication advisors, conference advisors representing the leading academic and professional institutions. Their contribution is central to maintain the intellectual quality of discussion and guiding the research towards meaningful outcome. Over all these 3 days, the program includes keynote address, thematic technical sessions, research paper presentation, scholarly discussions, and opportunity for professional and academic interaction. These sessions are intended to merely to present the complete research, but to encourage critical reflection, constructive feedback, and collaboration and development for future research network. The large intention of Temporium 2026 is to bridge several divisions of other, often limited to heritage discourse. The division between tradition and technology, conservation and development, rural and urban context, experts and communities, tangible and intangible heritage, academic research, and public policy making. We hope the conference will demonstrate that heritage is not opposed to change. Rather, heritage can provide knowledge, value, method, and ethical direction through which the society can negotiate the change more responsibly. The Temporium itself evokes the relationship between time, memory, continuity, and transformation. It reminds us that heritage belongs neither exclusively to the past nor only to the specialist. It is continuously interpreted, adapted, contested, and renewed by the communities and institutions. As we begin the conference, I invite every participant to engage openly, question established assumptions, share knowledge generously, and explore possibility for collaboration. Let these 3 days lead not only to academic exchange, but also to practical recommendations, strong professional network, meaningful publication, and sustained partnership. On behalf of the organizing committee, I express the sincere gratitude to the leadership of Christ deemed to be University, our knowledge partner, conference advisors, scientific and publication committee, the keynote speakers, the session chairs and invited guests, reviewers, authors, faculty members, and my dear students, and also the administrative team behind Temporium, all those who have contributed to the organization of Temporium 2026. I extend a special warm welcome to all the presenters and participants who have traveled from different regions and institutions to join us. Your research, experience, questions, and perspectives gives us purpose for this conference. We look forward to all the 3 days of a rigorous discussion, thoughtful exchange, and productive collaboration. Once again, I welcome all to Temporium 2026 International Research Conference on Heritage Across Landscape, Technology, and Ecological Continuity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vishnu. To highlight the university's commitment to research excellence, interdisciplinary collaboration, innovation, and global academic engagement, I invite the Director of the School of Architecture, Father Thomas Stevie, to deliver the presidential address.
Chief guest of the day, Dr. Rima Huja, President, International Council of Monuments and Sites, India. Our guest of honor, Professor Carl Sangel from TSWS Duisburg, Germany. HOD, School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi. And our eminent speakers, special guests, Dr. Norman from Germany, and Dr. Shikha and Dr. Parul, Campus Director, Dr. Father G.B. Jose, Dean of School of Architecture, Dr. Raghunandan, sir, Head of the Department, School of Architecture, Christian University, Dr. Anita Sushilan, our conference convener, Dr. Vishnu, and the entire team of this conference committee, dear faculty members, all the guests, participating institutions, and the delegates, other collaborators, scholars, and my dear students. Good morning. And this large introduction is meant only for me because I'm the president of this meeting morning. All others just say hi, good morning, and proceed. Never repeat these names. Okay, that's an international standard we need not do. But Indian way being, because we are talking about culture, heritage, all those things, so huge respect for people. No, we just keep on repeating the name. That's only restricted to me. Okay, not for you. Okay, thank you. So it's my privilege, welcome all of you to Temporium 2026, the International Conference of the School of Architecture, Christ University, and also on behalf of Vice Chancellor and a team of Christ University, to this campus, Kengeri campus of Christ University, the most beautiful campus, I would say. And this campus includes primarily engineering and architecture, but we also have 1/3 of MBA program in Bangalore also is in this building. And we have BBA program and we have psychology. So it's very integrated. So we have huge hope. And I was discussing with Madam that we need to have some sustainable development after this program, beyond this conference, maybe an annual conclave all the years, because this topic, what we're deliberating, is very relevant and is very futuristic also, and is demanding also. So we need to have something, maybe a center we may establish in future for this course in the School of Architecture, and also we may look forward to continue annually, even not just conference all the time, colloquium, symposium, or conclave, that we need to take it forward because there is huge relevance for this conference. So this conference is a celebration of scholarship, collaboration, and collective commitment to preserving and advancing a rich legacy of our built culture heritage. The theme, Heritage Across Landscapes, Technologies, Traditions, and Ecological Continuity, invites us to reflect on the dynamic relationship between the past and the future. Heritage is not simply about conserving monuments, it is about sustaining knowledge, traditions, ecological wisdom, and cultural identities that shape human civilization. As architects, planners, and conservationists and researchers, we have the responsibility to create solutions that respect history while embracing innovation. In an area of rapid urbanization, climate challenges, and technological transformation, interdisciplinary research and international collaboration have become essential for developing sustainable and resilient human settlements. I'm delighted that Temporium 2026 brought together eminent scholars, practitioners, and researchers from across India and abroad, collaborates with the partner institutions. We are grateful to all of you for your time and also your collaboration on behalf of the university. This demonstrates a shared vision of strengthening academic excellence and promoting meaningful dialogue and in architecture, conservation, and heritage studies. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our distinguished and academic knowledge partners whose expertise and commitment of heritage conservation enrich this conference immensely. I request you all to stay back for 3 days here. We have enough guest houses here and have enough wonderful networking so that we will have some very good policy statement, not just for Bangalore, not just for India, but for the world. I congratulate Dr. Anita Sushilan and Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, and then the coordinator, Dr. Vishnu, for organizing this wonderful event. Also congratulate the entire faculty team of School of Architecture for putting up this effort and organizing this wonderfully well. I remember with gratitude all our students to you. So you'll have sessions, okay? Maybe several wonderful research papers. That is a leading light for you, way ahead for your career, not just career, for contributing something greatly to the society or world or in the field of heritage and conservation in your near future, huge advantage. Please make use of them. I encourage every participant to actively engage the keynote sessions, paper presentation, discussions, and networking opportunities. May these interactions lead innovative ideas, impactful research, lasting partnerships, and practical solutions to contribute preserving our shared heritage while shaping a sustainable future. I've been to Duisburg, Germany, maybe 8 times from 2008, I would say. Our first German partner is TSWS Germany. We started with business school, then we started with exchange program with engineering school, and then architecture now. 80% of the city has been devastated during the Second World War. The entire structure has been rebuilt. Only 20% was remaining. Entire structure was rebuilt in the model. So that's an example. Duisburg is an example for this conference, I would say. Great things. It's wonderful to visit the palace on hilltop, and then all the restructured structures there in the city, because Europe especially consider heritage great. No, the money spent for Notre Dame Cathedral renovation and Cologne Cathedral renovation, all is a problem. We cannot fix it because after maybe 20 years, we will not have fund to maintain all those things, these monumental structures. So I see every time this construction going on there when I was in Cologne or in Notre Dame, Paris, wherever it is. So we need to propose solution for the future. How can maintain this one lasting way? Otherwise, it's a business. At the same time, there is a problem for the economical sustainability of these projects also. So it can be a problem to be studied, and we should propose some solution for that. We believe, Christ University believe in wonderful collaboration and also in applied research. We have more than 22 faculty members in Stanford, 2% scientist list in our university campuses. We have 15,000 Scopus publication we crossed 2 days before. So we believe in practical and applied research, so that we need to bring some solution to the society. Ultimately, that's the purpose of all research and education. We need to find solution for the problems of the society and the field. I do remember, like, you look at the Mysore city, it's wide roads, all those things, but that's old city, right? It's ethnic old city. But look at Bangalore, the modern city, established much later than, but congested road, lack of planning. Don't complain to your previous ministries, all those things. It's a real factor. We suffer on that one. So there are clear examples in front of us for the management and mismanagement, or planning and lack of planning, all those things. So our great forefathers are great planners. We think that we have AI, all those things. Absolutely. I think we are going to trouble our next generation to come, because we are going for I'm not against AI and technology. It's required, but process is missing in education and research. There is a problem, right? Education is a process. We don't believe in the product. The process is very important. So that is lacking when technology is overpowering or AI is coming. So we need to have human mind and heart, because architecture, planning, heritage, maintenance is all about with heart, more than any other program of the university. We are a multidisciplinary university. We can collaborate and take it forward this to the next level. We can do it. So that's what. So we don't want armies where there's so much conflict happening. This conference is talking about the old culture. We are accepting that one. We need to sustain it, but at the same time, we need innovation. I made it very clear. So we don't want armies. We want sculptures. When you go around the world, now you see wonderful sculptures which inspire. One sculpture, very powerful and inspire all of us, right? Everywhere. So you see, I have a collection of sculptures, pictures across the globe. When I travel, I have it. So earlier it was Orkut, then it was Facebook, then many things are changing now. Nowhere now I'm keeping it with myself, all those sculptures. So a lot of energy. We don't want armies and conflict. We want wonderful, beautiful culture that inspire people and make sure that we come together. So we don't want corruption and politics. We want basic space for openness and generosity and collaboration. Collaboration, co-creation is the result of all these programs. I would say that we look forward to that one. And Christ University will be always committed to you. It's not just for the conference 3 days. Always welcome. Our doors are open of all the 6 campuses, one in Delhi, one in Lavasa, Pune, and 4 in Bangalore campus. Always for you. So let us collaborate and make wonderful history ahead. So with these words, I wish Temporium 2026 every great success. May our deliberations during these 3 days inspire excellence, collaboration, and meaningful contribution to architecture, heritage, and conservation, with the motto of Christ University, excellence and service. Wish you great time. We'll be wonderful hosts. Okay, enjoy your time. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Father, for that warm, insightful, and very amazing, inspiring addressing. It is my distinct pleasure to invite President of ICOMOS India, Dr. Reema Ahuja, to formally inaugurate Temporium 2026 and share her valuable reflection on advancing education in architectural conservation, professional practice and research. I request Dr. Reema Ahuja to deliver the inaugural address.
Thank you. I think, Father, we could have heard you for much longer. Thank you very much for those wonderful oratory. It's a pleasure to be here, and that's a very dull word to use. You know, we're always happy to be somewhere, but I'm really happy to be here because right from the time it was, I think it was already today when I arrived, but it is from the morning. We've been meeting a lot of very, very interesting people doing a lot of very good work. And then to have the synergy that there is in this room has been inspirational. So much so that you'll have to push me off the stage in a few minutes. And it is the age of tech, but I'm neither taking a selfie, nor am I taking a recording of all of you. I would like to say my thanks for being here properly. So thank you very much to Christ deemed to be university, to your Vice Chancellor and other members who may not be physically present here today, but have made sure that I am physically present. Also, I know you did say I don't have to repeat all the names, but standing here, I feel I do. So let me be grateful for the opportunity of sharing the dais with Dr. Carl Zankel, with Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, with Father Jibi Jose, with Father Thomas TV, with Dr. Raghunandan Kumar R, with Dr. Anita Sushilan, and Dr. Vishnu Prakash, of course, and all of you, rest who will be speaking, will be chairing, will be taking part in all of this for the next few days, out of which we hope a lot more will come. We are, as a group, it's difficult to classify anybody, but we always do it. But if I was to try and do it, I don't have only a couple of words to use. You're all doers in different ways. You're planners. This goes for the students also. You're probably already planning what you will be doing either for your next coursework or for your free time or for your, whatever your interests are. We are humans. The mind works all the time. But simultaneously, thinkers, planners, doers, and self-critics. That part is essential. We need to be able to look at what we are doing to the world around us, what is happening to the world around us, and what can we do to either alter that or improve it or do anything which is within our field. And when I say field, that term also limits us. And here we are talking beyond fields. So if it is sitting here, we have to look at things very, very holistically, as Dr. Vishnu said earlier on. And that brings me to the next point, which is, what does being a student mean? And here I do not mean only people who are studying for a degree. Of course you're students. But the rest of us, and the older you get, and you can see I've made sure I have enough gray in the hair, the older you get, the more you realize, the less you know. You know, it's trite, everybody says it, but it's actually true. The more you read, the more you see, the more you realize there's so much more. And that is probably why earlier ancestors were always looking for this elixir to live forever. It's probably very boring to live forever because it's, I think, not natural. Everything ages. Father was talking about the structures. So they are damaged either by human action or by climate or by natural action. In the same way, a student means somebody who is willing to explore. And my little moments of homage to people I've known. So as a student in Jaipur, we had a professor of science, didn't teach me, taught at the university, Professor S. Lokanathan, but he came from Bangalore. It was Bangalore in his time. And he retired and came away here. He is no more, he would have been in his hundreds. But he said, A true scientist, if you need to define, somebody asked him that question. Actually, a child is a true scientist. Because a child will say, why is the sky blue? Why are leaves green? And if you are sensible, you will explain that there is a longer process. Why are there stars up there in the sky? If you are short-sighted, you will say, shut up, listen, I say so. Who am I to say so? So, words of advice to the student in us, don't go by what somebody says so just because they say so. Let them explain themselves, be convinced. That is the step forward to doing what we are doing. We are lifelong students. Memory, as Vishnu just said, is something that knits the past and present together. So that memory is a collective memory. And students, as students in that sense, we need to be carrying that forward. We have many identities also. Again, I'm paraphrasing. No, I'm not. I'm reusing your direct quote. But simultaneously, we are so many people. And therefore, simultaneously, we can do what Temporium is all about. Look at the heritage across landscapes. Look at the technologies we've inherited, the traditions, living or built or whatever, and the ecological continuity. The traditional ideas of knowledge, of innovations, of new technologies, new techniques, it's all there for us. With it, we have to have a historical perspective, and if you don't like the word historical, just say a perspective on techniques which have existed over time. And there was mention of Mysore a few minutes ago. Driving through there, you will see the new buildings coming up like they have already in Bangalore, but you'll see older structures. And beneath the plaster, you see places where probably physical hands built their own homes, rather than a machine doing it for us. I'm not giving a value judgment there, but those physical hands have left their marks. They've left the techniques that are known to them. We are able to study some of it, but just research is not the same as having empathy with what happened. Again, not necessarily value judgment, not necessarily that the past is the best, though as an archaeologist I would lean towards that, but there is so much in the future. And if we were to live in the past, we would not have had the ability to analyze and think of a future. So as human beings, we live with what we are and what we have inherited and what we make of it. The techniques, the technologies, the use of materials that we have, the methods that we have need to be researched, understood, put somewhere, not just in our documentation, but in our mental computers, so that we can go forward with them. Where do we go forward? Let's look at the world around us. We've divided it up in fields. I'm not an architect. I always wished I'd done that also, along with oceanography. I think I've said it before to somebody. But I've done archaeology and history. And the liberal arts gives a dimension that all of us need in this day and age. What is life so full of care if there is no time to stand and stare? And we're not saying stand and just keep staring for the rest of your lives, but appreciate what is around us, built, natural, and then go forward with it. Go forward with it so that it makes an exciting addition to the work that the School of Architecture does, that the schools of architecture do, that the planners do, that people researching can do. Where are our modern technologies that can help what we are doing? Even with documentation, even with other things. So I will be ending in a couple of minutes, but I want to just emphasize on some additional thoughts, just taken from your title, heritage. Not going to explain it, but heritage. What I am is part of the heritage in a global sense, in a national, physically national sense, in a sense of where I have been, what have I seen, what am I borrowing from the past. That links us to the landscapes we are living in, the changing landscapes, even the changing landscapes of a practical study that you might be doing on water, on the commons, on the question of how do you preserve a standing monument so that you don't have to keep going back to it every time. That is a bit of a tall order because, decay happens, but we need to find solutions. So with that aspect of tradition is the knowledge that there is always change. Nothing is static. So the transformation, we study the rates of change for various things. You might be doing a scientific experiment, you might be looking as a medical researcher, you might be looking at your architecture, but that transformation is part of it. So what has happened, again, let's not go too far away, what has happened in the city of Bangalore. The high-rise is one part of it, and it means exciting architecture. It means things that were not possible using brick and mortar, and 2 or 4 storied buildings is possible using modern technology. It means having one pillar with a lot of things balanced on it is feasible, because computers can do the maths for you, or you can do the maths for yourself if you are able to, I can't. But that aspect is available to us. But with that transformation, there's a big responsibility that is there. So what is the future we are creating? And are we taking responsibility? I may not be responsible for what I've inherited, but that isn't a way of just shrugging off responsibility. It exists. It's a problem for me even if somebody else created it. I can't shrug it off and say, I'm not responsible. You can't say, I'm not my brother's keeper, because we are. So, climate and ecology is threatened by some of the choices made, but that we are making today. Urbanization is around us. Not a bad thing. Humans have lived in society. But do we have to live in a society where we are immune to each other? Where you can't feel for somebody else? Because smaller communities do. And what students do as their part of their studio, part of their other thinking is you're working as in a smaller group. So you're creating that mini community. That is what is important. Therefore, I'm going to just end with a couple of things. We've got sustainable development goals. We've got everything we are working towards. How can we work towards it collectively in a better way? What are the outcomes going to be of Temporium? As Father just said, we need to be thinking of practical and applied research also. So how about a center of excellence with ICOMOS India and other signatories joining in, TSWS Germany and your other partner groups. Center of excellence in practical and applied research in architecture and allied sciences, or allied subjects. Subjects doesn't sound the same, as allied sciences. Last line. We have an inheritance. It can feel like a heavy burden, or you can treat it like something that you have got and you need to pass on. But it is ours. Inheritance is ours. And there's a future. Is the future also ours? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rima Huja, for your inspiring words. To share his perspectives on architectural heritage, international collaborations, and the evolving role of modernism, memory, and identity in the changing contemporary architectural discourse, I request Professor Karl Zenkel to deliver the guest of honor address.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, respected faculty members, colleagues, dear students. Thank you very much for the kind invitation to Christ University here in Bangalore. It's a very great honor and a genuine pleasure to participate in this Temporium 2026 and to share this conference with all of you. I come from the Technical University of Würzburg-Schweinfurt in Germany. Our universities have enjoyed a strong and fruitful partnership for many years, 20 years. And I'm very grateful to be part of this continuing academic exchange. For me, coming to India is also a very personal journey. I've been traveling and coming to your country for many years, and I had the privilege of living and working in India, in Ahmedabad. Those experiences gave me a deep appreciation for India's culture, for Indians' architecture and society, and this is what inspires me and my academic work today. It was through these experiences that the idea emerged to compare the recent architectural history and development of Germany and India. Although our countries have very different historical and cultural backgrounds, they also share remarkable parallels. In Germany, the devastation of Second World War required an enormous effort of reconstruction. In India, the years following the independence, 47, marked a period of profound transformation and nation building. Both countries faced the challenge of creating new cities, new industries, public institutions, while searching for a modern architectural language. A language that could express democratic ideals, technological progress, and cultural continuity. Germany and India confronted the same essential question: how shall we rebuild not only our physical environment, but also our identity, our values, our vision for the future? These architectural trajectories of both nations tell a compelling story, a story of renewal, resilience, and the power of design to shape a society. They remind us that architecture is more than the construction of buildings. It is the creation of memory, identity, and hope. So this Temporium 26, with its focus on heritage across landscapes, technologies, traditions, and ecological continuity, provides the perfect opportunity to reflect these questions. As we begin our discussions today, I invite you not only to look back at the past, but also take a look into the future. Heritage conservation is not simply about preserving ancient monuments. It's equally about recognizing and protecting the architectural legacy of the modern era, the buildings, places, and ideas that emerged after independence here in India and after reconstruction in my country. This will continue to shape our countries and societies today and in the future. Together, let us explore new methods, new perspectives, and new collaborations to preserve our valuable heritage for future generations. Thank you very much, and I wish all of us inspiring and productive days. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kal. Dr. Shika Jain is an internationally acclaimed conservation architect, urban heritage expert, and founder director of Drona, Development and Research Organization for Nature, Arts and Heritage. I request her to address the gathering for this special guest address, sharing her perspective on architectural scholarship, heritage, research, and professional practice. Over to you, ma'am.
Very good morning, everyone. Reverend Father Thomas TV, Director, School of Architecture, Dr. Raghunandan Kumar, Dean, Dr. Anita Susilan, and Dr. Vishnu Prakash, conveners for this conference. Thank you for bringing us together at the Christ University today. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. Rima Ahuja, Guest of Honor, Professor Karl Zanki, Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, delegates, my colleague Dr. Parul Munjal, distinguished delegates and faculty, and above all, the students of this school, to whom I would like to address my few words today. Landscapes, technologies, traditions, ecological continuity. Your conveners have chosen the 4 words that describe exactly what conservation practice today stands for and what we at Drona have been practicing since the last 2 decades. And I want to translate each of them into something you can carry forward in your studies and practice. First of all, widen the frame. As Dr. Vishnu has already said, the holistic outlook. Whether we are preparing a World Heritage nomination, or we are looking at a management plan for a site, or just looking a heritage structure that is standing on a site, we need to move beyond the monument-centric look to a more cultural landscape approach, which is more holistic in nature. Secondly, you learn to read a place before you design for it. And this is something that I've been advocating for long. In conservation practice itself, I say 70 to 80% of the work is just understanding the site and the nature of the building or the surroundings or the people or their memory or how that got into building this entire landscape. So it's very important to understand the place before you design for it or before you design any intervention or propose anything. We have a Historic City Series program that we have in collaboration with ICOMOS India and National Institute of Urban Affairs and IGNCA, which is looking at historic cities, more than 40 of these, including Bangalore, which has become a member this year. And we have understood that in each case, there are problems that are specific and need to be specifically addressed. There is no singular template that you can apply. So learn to look at the customized and specific approach that is essential for you. I would also like to focus your approach towards documentation. You know, documentation is just not making measure drawings or condition mapping or looking at histories, but how they can be applied. They matter only when they become evidence in someone's decision. So learn to write, you know, not for yourself, not for fellow architects who understand this concern, but for the engineer, the municipal officer, and the funder who are not aware about the heritage. And this is something that I've looked at during my practice. You need to be cross-disciplinary. Often we are just speaking the same language with the same people, and then we are left in isolation as a group. You need to go beyond that and talk to people who are actually not aware of it in order to make a difference. And lastly, I would like to say, treat, our traditional systems, whether it's water systems, passive cooling, local material, climate infrastructure, not as nostalgia, but what it can do for our future in battling with this, challenge that we have of climate change. Work with artisans and communities as partners, never as subjects. And I would just like to close now and congratulate the conveners and express our fullest support to whatever comes through from this discussion and the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shika Jain. Dr. Parul Munjal is a distinguished conservation architect, academic, and heritage professional with over 2 decades of experience in architectural conservation, heritage management, research and capacity building. I request her to address the gathering for her special address, sharing her perspectives on architectural scholarship, heritage, research, and professional practice.
Very good morning, everybody, and I think it's really a great opportunity to be here today among many, many of us who are very like-minded and care about heritage and our environment. But I commend again the Christ University for curating this as a platform where all the important, most critical discussions, thematically have been brought together, and I think which cannot be sort of seen in isolation, but have to be seen together. So thank you and congratulations. So without taking too much time, I will essentially look into try to highlight these 5 major points with respect to when we are looking at education, research, practice today with respect to heritage. The first thing is that, which I think is what the essence of this conference really is also, that when we talk about research, we have to root it in our living reality. And in order to do that, we have to make sure that the culture of research is such, that is inculcated in our students. So in our classrooms, in our discussions, in our research forums, we are looking at the ability to observe more, the ability to reflect more, the ability to analyze more, and the openness for everybody to express those views that have emerged out of inquiry. So I'm sure that Christ University is providing that kind of a platform, and I look forward to these voices coming out of the papers that we'll be seeing over these 3 days. The second thing I wanted to mention was about the opportunity that research has to inform practice. So here you've actually brought together research and practice in what we are doing over here. And it's not only important that research informs this, practice, but also decision making at policy level as well as decision making at the individual level. I feel that often research, especially in the field of heritage and in architecture, remains in our academic papers and does not reach out to various kinds of stakeholders. When we talk about the population growth and reduction, large kind of data sets, everybody can quote those numbers. I'm not talking about reducing research into actual numbers only, but I'm talking about informing decision-making through clear, systematic inquiries and insights that have emerged from that. So I think research has this huge amount of opportunity that we should be able to leverage in future. The third thing I wanted to bring out is practice. How does practice respond or work with research? So that again is very important, that they work hand in hand. When we actually look at projects that have been implemented and we try to conduct research about them, we either talk about a before scenario which is sort of constructed and an after scenario which is often sort of like a practice narrative from what the project was supposed to have achieved. So I think in between all of that, there's a strong need to take, this idea of documentation and analysis and critical reflection of what projects we are undertaking, what are the impacts of that, that again is something where research and practice can really come together. The next point I wanted to make was that heritage as a discipline. When we talk about the discipline of heritage, it's not just architecture. It is not just monuments. And we've been talking about this since morning. But also to say that we cannot put all the responsibility of solving issues and aspects and research and practice around heritage to be solved or be led only by conservation architects. I think here at Christ University, again, with the kind of multidisciplinary, potential that you have, I think heritage has to become the focus of many other disciplines. It has to become the focus of the business school. It has to become the focus of the psychology school. It has to become sociology. It has to become the focus of law. It has to become the focus of everyone, because the sole responsibility of heritage as well as the sole, I think, ownership of heritage cannot just be on the shoulders of conservation architects. So that's something that I would look forward to again from a university like Christ, to put together a kind of a mechanism where this can happen, where this idea of heritage goes beyond just architecture and planning and design. And there are many, many, because usually this is what happens when we look at conferences and seminars with respect to heritage. It's either historians or it's architects or planners or designers who are talking about heritage. So this needs to really go beyond. And the last thing I wanted to mention was technology. Of course, I mean, everybody's talking about AI. Even the taxi driver who was bringing me yesterday was saying that, the government needs to focus on AI and everybody has to look at AI. So fair enough. I mean, technology is absolutely fantastic. We have to work with it, and it creates a lot of opportunities in terms of our, educational classroom scenario. It has potential to engage, immerse the audience in a museum. It has so much, opportunity. But when we are using technology, I think continuing from what Father Thomas mentioned, that not only heart, but the mind, we have to use it very, very mindfully. Every time we are using a command on ChatGPT, there is an environmental impact of that. So we cannot be mindless about the use of technology. We have to be clear about how we are using it and what we are using for. So I think that's all the points I wanted to make, and thank you once again, and wish you all the best for all the, discourse and discussions that we are going to have over the next 3 days. Look forward to a lot of learning from all of it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parul. I now invite our Dean, Dr. Raghunandan Kumar R., to deliver the felicitation address.
Reverend Father Thomas TV, Director of School of Architecture, School of Law, School of Business Management, respected Chief Guest, Dr. Rima Ahuja, President, ICO MS India, Dr. Carl Zaki, Professor, TSWS, Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Head of Department of School of Architecture, Dr. Anita Sushilan, Dr. Vishnu Prakash, the convener, all the distinguished keynote speakers, all the dignitaries of the dais, Dr. Anuradha, Dr. Ajay, who come from different campuses, all the research scholars, and dear students. A very good morning to all of you. It gives me great pleasure to be part of this inaugural ceremony of Temporium 2026, an international research conference that brings together some of the finest minds working at the intersection of heritage, landscape, technology, and tradition. When we speak, I have got something to share a little later. So on behalf of all gathered here, I extend my warmest congratulations to the School of Architecture for conceiving and organizing a platform of such scholarly ambition and interdisciplinary depth. So the theme chosen for this conference, Heritage Across Landscapes, Technologies, Traditions, and Ecological Continuity, could not be more timely. We live in an age where the pace of technological change often threatens to outstrip our ability to remember where we came from. So conferences like Temporium remind us that heritage is not a static inheritance to be preserved behind glass, but a living, evolving dialogue between the past and the present, between memory and material, between tradition and innovation. As an engineering educator, Now, I find particular resonance in the themes outlined: digital heritage and documentation, climate resilience and sustainability, and the role of emerging technologies in conservation. So when other speakers also mention about technology and conservation and heritage, so when we include personnel from other discipline, we are also sensitizing them on the heritage and the conservation. It's not just with the architects or with the policymakers alone. So it's a great opportunity for all of us to see in a very interdisciplinary way and engage this conversation and the discussion with everybody concerned. So that way, we do justice to what we are doing. So these are where the disciplines of architecture and engineering do not merely intersect, they depend on one another. The tools of our time, digital twins or sensor-based monitoring, sustainable material science or data-driven urban planning, or giving conservation practitioners and researchers new ways to document, protect and reimagine the built and cultural heritage of our world. So in this sense, Temporium 2026 is not just a conference for architects and conservationists, it is an invitation to every discipline that touches the built environment to think more responsibly about continuity, ecology and community. As Madam Chief Guest mentioned, if it's a 4-story building, it need not be a frame structure. It can be constructed using bricks and mortar, which can take the load, but rarely we find that, it is being designed by even the structural engineers. And it is a great opportunity for everybody to think, we can always think alternate ways and alternate and sustainable materials to build the structures which will be there for long, so such a format ensures that this is not a one-way transmission knowledge, but a genuine exchange, one that I hope will spark new collaborations, new questions, and new ways of seeing familiar landscapes. So I extend a very warm welcome to all our international delegates, keynote speakers, and researchers who have traveled from near and far to be with us at Kengeri campus over these 3 days. Your presence enriches not only this conference, but the intellectual life of our entire university community. To the students and young researchers presenting their work here, I encourage you to see this conference not merely as a platform to present your findings, but an opportunity to listen, to question, to be inspired by the perspectives beyond your own discipline. So some of the most important ideas in architecture and engineering alike have emerged from precisely such cross-pollination. So I once again congratulate the organizing team, the faculty and the student volunteers of Christ Architecture for their dedication in bringing Temporium 2026 to life. I wish the conference every success and look forward to rich discussions, discoveries and collaborations that will unfold over the next 3 days. So wish you all the best and look forward for your deliberation, discussions and the outcomes which will also may lead to the policy formulations as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Raghunandan. We now arrive at a very significant and celebratory moment in today's program, the release of the Book of Abstracts. I request Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi, Head, Department of Architectural Conservation, SPA Delhi, to kindly come forward for the official release of the publication. I request Dr. Hima Huja, Professor Karl and Father Thomas to join her. This publication stands as a testament to the scholarly rigor, collaborative spirit, and the academic contributions that define Temporium 2026. The contributions of the editorial team, including Dr. Binmol Tom, Dr. Vishnu Prakash, and Dr. Anita Shushilan, are highly appreciated. Appreciation is also extended to Professor Rashmi P. and Ms. Samriddhi for their help in ensuring that the book comes together.
Thank you. As we draw this inaugural session to a close, we now invite the vote of thanks. This will be an opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries, speakers, delegates, reviewers, session chair, organizing committee member, volunteers, and participants whose contribution have made this occasion possible and memorable. I would invite Dr. Ajay Chandran, sir, to give the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Respected Chief Guest, Guests of Honor, distinguished invitees, Fathers, Dean, Delegates, esteemed faculty colleagues, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the inaugural function of Temporium 2026. Heritage is continuous. We learn gratitude from heritage. First and foremost, I express our sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Rima Ahuja Madam, President ICOMOS India, for graciously inaugurating the conference and for her inspiring address on advancing architectural education, practice, and research. I sincerely thank Professor Anuradha Chaturvedi Madam, Head Department of Architecture Conservation at School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, for releasing the book of abstracts, and our special guest, Dr. Shika Jain Madam and Dr. Parul Manjul Madam, for sharing their valuable insights on heritage scholarship and professional practice. We are deeply grateful to the management of Christ Deemed to Be University, to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Father Dr. Joe C.C. in his absentia, our beloved Father Dr. Thomas T.V., our Director, School of Architecture, for his encouraging presidential address, Father Dr. G.B. Jose, Director, School of Engineering and Technology, for his continuous guidance in his absentia, Father Shijin P.J., Assistant Director, Kengiri Campus, in his absentia, to our beloved Dr. Raghunandan Kumar Sir, Dean, for his continuous guidance, inspiration, and for his warm felicitation. Our leader, Dr. Anita Sushilan Madam, Head of Department, School of Architecture, for his continuous guidance, and the convener for the Temporium 2026. A special word of thanks to organizing core team led by Dr. Vishnu Prakash, convener for steering this conference with the dedication, and to the entire team members, Professor Alina Maria, Professor Rashmi Rajesh Pai, Professor Shyam Gandhi. My gratitude also goes to all the keynote speakers, session chair, reviewers, delegates, and authors whose scholarship enriches this conference, to the University Choir for the soulful invocation, to the performance of Natyarpana, and to our MCs, Professor Albert Joseph and Professor Chaitra KB, for graciously anchoring the proceedings. I place on record our appreciation for the faculty coordinators, administrative, technical, and support staff, and our enthusiastic student volunteers, whose tireless efforts behind the scene have made this event possible. Once again, I thank you all for the gracious presence and wish Temporium 2026 very successful in its deliberations. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Ajay Chandran. As we close this program, I request you all to rise and stand for the rendition of the Christ anthem. Thank you. I request you to all remain standing while the dignitaries leave the auditorium. Okay. I request all the participants to come for a photo session along with the student volunteers. Okay. All the delegates, please gather on the dais for the group photograph. In the meantime, students, you are all requested to return at 11:30 for the keynote address by Dr. Carl Zinkel. Refreshments for you guys will be provided in the MBA canteen. Refreshments for the students is provided in the MBA canteen. Refreshments for our invited guests will be served in the lounge, and refreshments for the faculty members and presenters will be served in the lobby outside. You may ask for the assistance of the volunteers if guidance is required. Students, you may proceed to have your refreshments in the MBA canteen.